Megan is coming up.
Hi, beautiful.
Good morning, gorgeous.
Good morning. Sorry, I was like cleaning my mom's house and I was like, holy shit, wait, mom, what time is it? It's like 10:20. I'm like, oh shit, I need to go.
Well, I was just gonna ask you what time is it there, and now you just told me that it's basically 10:30 there now. Yeah.
Yep.
So let me check. So Bethany's coming. She's like, she'll be a couple of minutes late because she needs to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, okay, perfect, because I got to use my bathroom.
Yes, go.
Getting started, I'm gonna have my lunch.
What are you having?
It's a shake. I don't have time to sit down and eat food. I mean, isn't that just the beauty of startups and businesses and running businesses? And I mean, right? I mean, it's the fun part, but at the same time, not so fun because I gotta drink this crap.
Hey, I'm about to start doing that because I just went to the doctor yesterday and they weighed me and I'm like, no, this is not correct.
No, take it back. Give me another.
I didn't see it.
Honestly, so I have this relationship with the scale where I don't trust it and I don't believe it. And I don't say hi to it. And the reason for that is because it lies and it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel guilty. It creates shame and embarrassment. And if I wanted to feel that way, I will step on a scale, but I don't. So therefore, I don't need to be told my weight. I don't need to know that. It's just a number. And I mean, I like numbers, but that's the number that I really don't care about because what really matters at the end of the day is how I feel in the clothes that I wear. And I find it so inspirational seeing women in all shapes and sizes and being comfortable in their own skin. Whereas the other side of a woman can be as flat as a board and still not feel comfortable. That was me as a teenager. I had abs, man. When I tell, like, when I say I was sexy, I was sexy. I was.
You still are.
I lost my husband. That's part of the reason why he married me. Well, I mean, let's not really pretend that it wasn't, right? It's God's honest truth. So I was hot. But then something happened, and I now figured out what it was. What happened? It was birth control, which screwed up more hormones. And it was pregnancy, the miscarriage, the stress, the anxiety, the depression. I mean, a lot of things that we go through that affects our hormones and the weight that we carry is hormonal. So a sexy woman can still feel inadequate, whereas a big boned woman, as many refer to it, even though the bones are still the same size.
We thick, okay? We're thick women.
Yeah, we thick women can feel so comfortable and confident in our bodies. Yeah. You know why? It's the blueprint. Because each and every one of us has a certain blueprint. And when we're not living in our blueprint, we start to feel really crappy about who we are until we get to that blueprint. So Bethany's about to hop on and you'll see her. I know you guys seen each other through the group, but now you get to connect for reals.
Oh, I should go put my necklace on. I love it.
I got this one in the store last week. It's actually like turquoise color, and my cat loves to chew on it.
Hey, I'm here. Sorry. Hi, Megan. I'm Bethany. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Bethany. Oh my God, I love your tattoos.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm covered.
One day.
Tell her where
I got blessed. My husband tattoos, so.
No. See,
Yeah,
I've always wanted a best friend tattoo artist. I'm like, I need one.
Yeah.
One. Yeah, so tell everyone where you guys are from. As you
Okay.
guys know, I'm from Georgetown, Ontario. That we already established. Now, you go.
I am in Michigan, Michigan, California. Like that's a thing. Jesus.
You're two places at once. Wow.
I know. I'm magic. No. So I'm from California, but I'm in Michigan now. So I am. Yeah, I'm currently in the middle of Michigan, in central Michigan.
Is it cold there right now?
Yes. Yeah, but it's warm in my house, so I mean, I can't tell the difference.
Fair enough. Well, I'm from Tacoma, Washington.
Nice.
Yes.
And
I don't want to say I live here because I don't, but right now I reside here.
Yeah, that's cool though. You get to travel and like have different residencies.
I love traveling.
Yeah.
This whole COVID thing kind of threw off my whole travel plans, but it's okay. It's on for something new and I'm going with the flow. So
Hell yeah. Yep, that's the best way. That's what I do. Go with the flow. Hell yeah. I like that.
Mm-hmm. So, what is it that you would be doing right now if it wasn't for COVID?
me, I would
Same
probably
thing.
be in South America.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Or
Sure.
no, because I had already planned to be done with Europe and back here in America by September. So yeah, I probably would be in South America, just chilling on a beach somewhere.
Nice. I would probably be doing the same exact thing as I'm doing now.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Maybe more traveling, like we'd be doing tattoo conventions, probably would get back into that. But other than that, so we're more relaxed right now and it's nice. I can't complain. Yeah.
I think the whole world needs to relax right now. We all need a break.
Right.
Yeah, and we've been
especially in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calm down, people.
See, by now I would have probably already met Bethany in person because Bethany and I have never met in person, and we've been friends for what, 2 years now.
Has it been?
Wow.
I feel like it's been longer.
I know it feels longer, but
has it only been 2?
it might have been just a year and a half, to be honest.
No, I know it's been like 2. I know that for sure. But yeah, I think it's been about 2. But I don't know exactly.
So, because I was planning on going to meet her this summer, and then boom, COVID.
Right? Yeah, it's okay. It'll happen in right timing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know I have a trip. I'm planning to try to go see family in January. We'll see if that happens. I got insurance on my flights this time though, so it's like,
that's smart.
Well, I'm covered 100% because the last time I didn't, and and it was like, well, you have credit, and you can only use it for this long. So I took
which is
care
so
of that.
Stupid.
I know. So now I have insurance. So if we don't use it in January, then I can use it anytime. So it's kind of like, cool, works out.
Yeah. Did you get to use the money that they put under as credit?
Yeah, the credit. Yeah, I did. And honestly, so it's kind of a good thing. No, it is a good thing because we were able to upgrade our seats to like the better seats for some of the flights. And then we got the insurance on it. So now it's like 100% protected. No matter what happens, like we will not lose it. There is a little bit of credit that we couldn't use because the tickets were pretty cheap, which I'm not complaining, but I'm just like, oh, I didn't use all my credit. But if we go, we're going to use that for like food on the plane and stuff. But I don't know, with how everything's going, I really don't feel like we'll probably be able to go because California is in a lockdown right now.
Oh.
Yeah, but all of our family's there. So it's kind of like, do we not? I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, it's scary what's happening because my husband shared something with me this morning that one of his co-workers, his niece, is in the hospital.
Oh
now,
man,
fighting for her life. It started with stomach cramps. Then she had a fever for 3 days, ended up in the hospital. And what they said is that, I can't remember the actual name, but it basically that if a child had COVID and they get sick again, that it basically, it's almost like the body starts to shut down. So she's now on ventilator.
Oh, that's
And
interesting. I don't think I've heard that. Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Here, like what they tell us with kids is like it's harder to transmit COVID through, like toddlers especially, because they're small. So like they don't have all those big bad like germies yet. But I didn't even think about the fact of it happening again. What would happen? Huh. Dang.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
And I mean, it's scary to think about it. And I don't want to go into, as my husband refers to it, conspiracy theories. But at the same time, there's always a lot more to what's going on. There's always a lot more to what's being said. I mean,
Right.
right, in every conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We're not here to talk about stuff that doesn't make
Right.
Right. I stay away from it. I don't even talk about it. I'm like, take it somewhere else.
I agree. Yeah. I'm like, you want to talk about like growth and stuff? Hey,
Right.
I'm here. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, and that's the thing. Like at the same time, the reason why I don't express fear in conversations like that, even with my partner, is because what is the point of me expelling all of that energy and draining myself? And because no matter how much we prepare for something,
yeah.
it not even happen. So
Right.
worry about it before it happens. It's the same thing when it comes to doing the exams. We've all been there. And how much energy do we actually end up losing and feeling drained and tired and exhausted? And when the exam comes, it's like, why was I worrying so much about this? This is a piece of cake.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yep. I can relate to that so much. This last week, I did a lot of stuff that I feared, and it was just like, why did I fear that? Like, oh my gosh, I should have just done it sooner. Like those plane tickets, especially. That was my big jump of getting past the fear and being like, you know what? It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how do you treat fear, Meagan?
Oh, I look it in its face and I say, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I do. I mean, but that's why I like continue traveling by myself and everything. So it's just like, why let that stop me from living my life? Like all the bad things can happen, whatever I'm doing, wherever I am. So it's like, why stop my life and put it on hold? And I feel like that's why, I mean, the government and all of the world is doing this right now is to gain control over us, because fear is such a thing that you need to control people, because if they fear it, then they look for other people to do stuff for them. And a lot of us don't face our fears, and we don't go after them and be like, hey, it's okay that I fear this, but I'm not going to let it hold me back. I'm going to actually do that thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a great point, because like the government using fear to control us, because I honestly can't even think of anything else that allows other people have control of other people other than fear. Because when we are in fear, when we are in that mode, the system starts to shut down and we feel helpless. So we will reach that hand out and take any help that will be given to us.
Mm-hmm.
And with everything that's going on, we always said that there's going to be World War III. Now, everyone automatically assumed that it would be the same way as it was before, physical,
Right.
as we are actually already in the war, and it is a war of information.
Yep. I believe like the book 1984, The Thought.
Oh yes, I'm reading that right now.
Are you? Oh, I read it a couple months ago. So good. Such a great book. Oh my goodness. Hell yeah.
But isn't it scary?
Yeah.
Like, and that was written when? In
Right.
1984.
Mm-hmm.
And we are now in 2020 living with the words that had been written.
Right.
Right? I mean, if you read it and understand what is actually being said and what's actually not being said as well, because to me, a lot of the reading in that book is intuitive reading,
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
right? And that's why, like, reading it to me, I'm a crier.
Me too.
I will come right out and say it. I'm a crier. I'm very sensitive. I feel too deeply, and
Mhm.
the names that I've been given, one of them that really sticks with me and it used to hurt and doesn't anymore was drama queen. Whereas, I mean, let's be
Oh, I
honest,
embrace my drama queen. I'm like, I am.
right? There you go. And then that way,
Yeah.
boys have no power, Yana, unless you give them power. Okay, I'll give them
Exactly.
power, but the power I want,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
not what you're trying to do with them. So in reading that book, I would read and I would just, my heart would physically hurt because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm there,
Mm-hmm.
and it hurts. Watching shows, the same thing. I mean,
Watching the news is the worst.
I
Yeah, I
don't
can't watch the news.
I
No,
can't,
thank
and it's
you.
funny
Yeah.
because like even my family, it's like they believe so much into it, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, but first of all, those doctors that they're getting to speak they're only finding the ones that agree with them.
Yeah.
It's like, but they're never gonna find someone that's opposing. So of course you believe all of what you hear on the news, but you're not going and seeing, okay, like let's say the Democrat Party and their controlled news is saying this narrative, but if you go on the other side, then they tell you a completely different story. And it's like, can we just think for ourselves? And I fear like this for Americans. And when I come back here, and it's just like how brainwashed we are and how much we let the government and let everything else control us. And it's like, you should probably take control of your life, guys. Just a little bit.
Right. Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
then it goes back to the book, the 1984
Mhm.
novel, where 2 minutes of hate. That's
Mhm.
me. And I mean, my husband and I will also watch a documentary about this guy who used to be, he used to be an actor and do stunts, and then he got hurt. And then, I mean, that's where he learned what the TV is all about. How there's basically messaging in there that people are not even fully understanding.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
TV itself, especially like news channels, are controlled. They
Mhm.
are controlled, and they
Why they
cannot,
call it a TV program.
yeah, tell a vision,
Yep.
Mhm.
right? And then
Ooh, I like that one. That just clicked.
yeah, they're telling you a vision. They're programming you
Oh.
without actually fully you fully understanding that you being programmed. Pay attention to Simpsons.
Oh
Why?
yeah.
Pardon me, and I know some people might get sensitive about it, but I understand it and I see it. Children that were watching Simpsons growing up pretty much guarantee, especially men, that they are alcoholics or addicts of some sort. Women that grew up watching The Simpsons became Marge, caregiver, like giving everything they can and forgetting about themselves and then ending up with hair falling out and ending up in an institution,
Interesting. Yeah, I never
right?
even thought about that.
Children
Yeah.
watching it, they are either Bart or they're Lisa or they're Maggie, who are just silently watching and observing. And that show has been going on for how many years?
A long
Oh
time.
wow, it's a long time. I don't even know. Like this since before I was born, when my parents
Yeah.
watched it. Yeah.
And I mean, I love The Simpsons,
Right.
but at the same time, I see what is being programmed, but how we're being programmed. And
Yeah.
also how we're being programmed is also our choice that we don't even realize.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had the same thing with the show Sister Sister. I don't know if you guys watched that
Oh,
as a
I
Disney
loved
show.
Sister.
But when I was watching it, there was like things like for me, I have like in the past, binge eating was really rough. But I realized watching it, like they like when you're upset, they would go straight to food. When anything would happen, it would like food, 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 and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I watched that and I saw that, and that like got programmed in. It's like The Simpsons. It's crazy.
Mhm.
And the only truth that we get to hear is from people online,
Yeah.
like us,
Right.
Mhm.
right?
That's why like the last few weeks I've just been like unprogramming myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch anything. I'm not even gonna be on social media because I just need to like focus on myself. And for me, it's hard to come back here to America because I'm like, my brain has too much information and I start to go crazy. And I'm like, my life is on like fast forward here. And it's
Right.
like when I'm away, like everything's just chill and calm. And like I'm never on my phone. Like I never use my phone. I'm always doing something. But when I'm here, it's like I get consumed by it. And I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I need to. So I do. I unplug, and I've been dancing in my room because I'm.
Hell yeah.
Have you guys read Paulo Coelho's books?
No.
You should. He's amazing. He's a spiritual writer. They are, I believe, they're in the fiction. I believe some of them are like they're on his true stories, but he like writes them in like a different way. But yeah, so I started reading one of his and it was talking about like this girl who like gets in tune with dancing and stuff. And I'm like, actually I love dancing. Like, and I haven't done that in a really long time. So I've just been putting on my music and I just dance in my room. I'm like, I got this. So it's been like nice to just unwind and doing stuff that I love. I started drawing again. I've been trying to write in my journal every day and not touch my phone.
But see, right there, that's
Okay.
exactly what I mean, that we are in the war of the time of information overload. That you go on any social platform or even on the internet, the infinite web, that you are instantly bombarded with so much information coming at you, and consciously it's overwhelming. But what also many people might not even be aware of is that subconsciously, even though you're scrolling through the news feed, every single word is registered in that back of the attic. It's filed and filed, and that is where the humans start to experience overwhelm and anxiety and depression, because and all the other feelings, even guilt and shame and all of that, because all that information gets registered. Now they're not consciously aware of it, but the body is. So therefore, they start to feel those feelings of I'm not good enough, right? Or depending on what information that got registered in there, there is going to be, I want to say, repercussions to it. That's what that comes to mind, even though I don't fully know what that word means. I'll have to Google it.
It's like kind of consequences, like something happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the effect of the cause.
Yeah, and you were living in the moment when you were traveling. That's what I heard, that you were just doing and you were being and you were experiencing things. And then now all that is taken away and you're forced to sit and look at the screen.
Right. That's one reason why I love posting my daily like poetry, like quotes, because of that subconscious, people are seeing it no matter what, and it's just like in there. And that's something I started with when the pandemic started, was I got into writing, and it just like flows out of me. I'm just, it's crazy. Did you know, Yana, I am up to 273 that I've written so far. Yeah.
Pages.
Yeah, no, poems / inspirational quotes. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's just been my outlet too. And then I just love sharing the positive words that I learn and create.
I agree. Yeah. We all need to help each other.
Definitely.
But not get consumed by other people's problems.
Exactly. Yes. You got to put that shield on and be like, no, not mine. Return to sender.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. And
I don't want it.
Yeah.
Staying out of the story is also can be difficult, can be challenging, but that is also the biggest key to our own survival. And mental health, because if we get into somebody else's story and we allow their story to become our story, I mean, I have enough stories of my own.
Right. Yeah.
That's another overwhelm.
Yeah, definitely. Having all those thoughts cloud in your brain. You're just like, that's why, like, Megan, you're saying you journal. And I journal too. And I just find that I'm able to, like, my brain will be like just thoughts. And then all of a sudden I journal. It's just like, calm,
Because you
peace,
just let
being
it
in the
go. You let
moment.
it transform into
Yeah.
different thing. And that's what sometimes I've been teaching, like, my family. I'm like, talk to yourself in the mirror, because when you speak it, you're allowing it to let go. Like, but you have to find that form that you like. And I like all different forms, so I do all of them, but you'll find something that resonates with you. And I find it hard for people to do that because they feel like if they speak it, if they write it, then like it's true or whatever. And it's like, but it's in your head constantly. You're constantly thinking about it. And our brains don't know the difference between past, present, anything. So when you are thinking about something bad, your body thinks that it's happening right then and there. So then, maybe it's a fear thing, and then your body starts like hurting and everything. It's like, so we have to learn to be more mindful and be more present. And,
Yeah.
my family are learning to do that. And each day they come to me, they're like, holy God, I didn't know how hard it is to be mindful. I'm like, yeah, because it's an every single second daily thing. Like, you never stop being mindful, but it does get easier because it's like a habit. When you constantly do something, you're going to start being more aware of it. But it is hard for us to be aware of ourselves.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's the hardest part. But once you push through that barrier, it's just like, like you see
Yep.
the wrinkles and the shining, and yeah.
Yeah. And then that's when you're able to live in the moment,
Mhm.
right? Because up until that point, you're not living in the moment. You are either in the past or you are in the future.
Yeah.
And whether you are thinking of the past or planning for the future, you are experiencing all of those feelings and emotions in the now. And it takes away from you in the now. And it's like when something traumatic happens to us in our past, we start thinking about it now. Again, like you said, Megan, that the body doesn't know and the mind doesn't know if it's actually happening now or not. It actually ends up happening to us right then and there. So we relive it every time we go there. So, in other words, if we really want to relive something, we can choose what we focus on. We can choose to relive all the good parts. Like for me, for example, um, I like to ask myself questions and coach myself through things, right?
Yeah. Same
So,
here. It's the best thing. I love doing
and
it.
feeling lost or disoriented and overwhelmed, I like to think and kind of remind myself and bring back what is my favorite part of my childhood that really stuck with me that I would love to relive right now. And pretty much all the time, and I pay attention that every time it was always outside. Every time it was either climbing a tree, because it does change from moment to moment. So climbing a tree or chasing snakes or catching mice on the street. Yeah.
Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta handle something upstairs with the little one.
Or it would be riding a bike, right? Or it would be climbing this abandoned building that used to be a slaughterhouse. So there's always some other parts, and me going there, I get to relive it and feel the fire and the joy that I felt as a child. And I get to feel it in the now instead of me sitting here and thinking and going through losing my twins
Yeah.
or losing the dog or losing jobs or losing friends. And I mean, I don't want to focus on loss because it hurts and I don't want to feel the pain and the hurt. I want to feel joy.
Yeah.
And there is actually quite a difference between happiness and joy. Happiness can be taken away, it's fleeting, whereas joy is permanent. And when we have access to joy, we're able to experience it in any given moment in time.
Yes. I know I just hopping in. I love joy. I do this practice with abundant joy. every day. And I'm going on 9 weeks. So I resonate with that joy statement 100%. I'm like, yes. Oh, sorry. You guys are falling. I'm a hot mess. It's okay. No.
So how would you guys love to have more joy in your life?
Oh yeah. It's always the best feeling, yeah.
Yeah. And again, something because I feel like right now, like I've been getting to that point where it's like I need to stop getting in my emotions and letting them consume me. Because I do that a lot. But granted, I was just on my period, so sometimes I allow myself to sit in my emotions a little more than usual because I'm like, I am going through a lot. So I don't get mad at myself. I'm like, it's okay, just go.
Right.
But when we're done, we need to move on from it. So, like you've been saying, like I've been doing that. Like when I'm dancing, I've been putting on music that makes me think of when I was traveling. And then I go back there and I just like relive that happy moment. But even right now, being here, I'm like, cool, but like I get a new chance with my family. I get to build these new connections. I get to teach them how to communicate, teach them how to be mindful, just teach them all these great things. And I'm glad that they're open to it now. So it's great. I'm glad that I can come back here and find the joy within my family because my family was definitely a lot of my trauma from the past. So now being able to clean the slate and start over new and, teach them also about boundaries and how to implement them and that it's not a bad thing to have boundaries, and it's not a bad thing to talk about your boundaries or to communicate those things, which I think people have such a bad, like, no, but I can't have boundaries. Yeah. Even if it's your
Right.
mama, your daddy, whoever it
You
is,
have to
you
have
need
boundaries.
boundaries.
Yeah, they're very important for everyone to have, because if we don't have boundaries, people will walk all over us. I'm sure we all heard that. People will take advantage because they think and they understand that you allow it because you have not spoken and the words that you want to speak. So if you want to set those boundaries, set them.
Right.
Don't hold back. And yes, I understand it can be challenging to speak those boundaries and share them because we all fear of the other person's ego and how that ego, when it is hurt, it will at you.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
So we understand that. And that's why, because we've set boundaries in our past before, and we automatically assume that it's going to happen again that when we set those boundaries. But when we expressed them before, perhaps we didn't know how to do that. And now we get to do it in a whole new way and help people to understand more of who we are and not cross that line.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. Oh yeah. Or even
Yeah,
because lately, with my grandma, she is 88 years old, but I'm really proud of her. She has changed a lot. But it's funny because sometimes I'll talk to, like, let's say my mom about it, and she's like, oh, she's never gonna change. And I'm like, see, but that's the thought of thinking that no one is ever going to change and thinking that just because of how old they are. We are all capable of changing no matter how old we are, whatever we are, what part of life we are in. But you having that negative connotation to, hey, she's old, so she's never going to change. Okay, well, I could say the same about you, but you are also changing. So it's like, give people, that chance to prove you wrong. And if they can't, then okay, we can say, hey, they're not in a moment of change, but some people are willing and accepting. And for me, I just put slivers in my family's head until they're finally accepting of it. And I'm like, all right, we're there now.
Yeah, you plant those seeds. You're like,
yep.
Yep. I completely agree. I do that with my family. I actually homeschool my son. He's 4 and I do personal development with him. So I like practice him. He does deep breathing. When he's upset, he stops and takes a deep breath. And then he'll tell me, okay, what's going on? Yeah,
Good
so I'm
mama.
always trying to like implement it now because I'm like, if I could have
Mhm.
known this when I was younger, man, I can only imagine how my life would have like ended up being. Of course, I love everything that happened to get me to this point, but you
Mhm.
know, you get what I'm
Mhm.
saying.
Yes, yes, yes.
It'd be
And
very
it's
beneficial.
funny because, like, for me, I just think about that. Like, I'm not a mom yet. And there's a reason why I haven't, because I'm like, I want to be that person that I needed when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I want to have those skills that I think I should have had when I was younger and what I needed, you
Mhm.
know? But
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you. That's
Oh,
awesome that
thank
you do
you.
that with your son.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know, it just started one day and I was like, you know what? This is a thing. This is happening. This is a subject. Yeah.
It should be taught to all kids how to be
Yeah.
mindful and how to control themselves in those moments.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he was doing this thing where what really got me to the point where I was like, I gotta do something else was he would start yelling at me, screaming back. And I'm like, okay, we gotta find something else to do here because this isn't gonna work. The crying isn't gonna help because I'm not getting down to what's going on. And he also journals a little bit too. I have him draw pictures and he'll tell me like what I'll ask him, what's going on in this picture. And I've uncovered some things that were really upsetting for him. And when I was able to explain, you know, like kind of the whole personal development growth stuff, and he's just like, oh, okay. And it like I saw the change and I was just like, wow, all right, cool.
And so like I teach kids and stuff, but it's like
Nice.
we don't give kids enough credit.
No.
We don't. They are smart little human beings.
Oh my
They
goodness,
pick up,
yes.
they are sponges. And it's like, get them when they're young, teach them all this stuff. You think that they're not capable of it, but they are capable.
Oh yeah.
Even at 4, 3, like
Yeah.
they
I
will know.
I mean, yeah, this just shows me. I'm like, okay, cool. So now, like, his friends, like, with their parents' permission, I'll be like, can I, like, kind of work with them, like, during an upsetting time? And they'll be like, yeah, that's fine. And so, yeah, just trying to give everyone some love, I guess.
I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
think kids need more love. I really do. I
Oh, yeah.
think when people become parents, they forget that aspect of it. It's more of, again, like, I need to control them. I need to make
Mm,
them into what I want to make them. And it's like, no, you are there to be a guide. You are there to help them. You're
yeah,
not there to make them into what you want them to be.
We're
exactly.
there to be their students because our children are here
Mhm.
because we have chosen them before we were born and they have chosen us to come and teach us lessons. And yet here we are as parents trying to control them and teach them
Yeah.
what we want from them, what how we want them to be, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing.
Mhm.
And we don't allow them to be themselves. And like both of you basically expressed is that they're very smart. They know how to play the game. They know how to get what they want from who they want. So one example, I can't remember if somebody shared with me that. So mother has a daughter, and the daughter is sitting down. She dropped the toy behind her back, and she's whining and crying, yelling to her mom, get the toy. I don't know where it is. Get me my toy, right? And this like the way that she expresses herself as a 9 month old. Okay. So the mother tells her, it's behind you. Get it yourself. So she looks back to see the toy and looks forward and still cries to ask for it.
Mm.
So the daughter right there just expressed that she understands what the mother says, that it's behind
Exactly.
you. Now we think that children don't understand these things because they're too little and too stupid,
Hmm.
but they're not.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They're
But
little.
that right there shows that that little girl wants attention, not that she
Yeah.
wants
The
that
toy.
toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so
Exactly.
awesome, Megan, that you work with kids, though. I do. I just wanted to say that. I love that. That's awesome.
Thank
Sorry to
you.
interrupt
Yeah,
you,
I
Megan.
actually I'm starting. I'm just waiting for my license, but I'll be working with like autistic kids.
Oh, awesome.
So
That's
teaching them
awesome.
how to like implement new behaviors and it's great because I
Yeah.
was actually telling Yana they make you look at words differently, like we were talking about. Like the word
Right.
consequence, we think, is always a bad thing. And it's like, No, it actually is just getting them to change their behavior. And most of these consequences are good things, you know? It's giving them something or taking away something, but they're like, we don't look at it as a bad thing.
Right. My youngest brother is he's mildly autistic, but yeah, I worked with him a lot growing up because I was the sister, so I babysat. But that's awesome. Oh, I love that's your passion. Oh.
No, I do, because I actually want to homeschool my kids. Like, that's always been my dream. Because, sorry, F the school system. They teach them shit.
Yes.
And I would rather teach my kids what they should know about the world.
Yeah.
And again, I want to pull on their strengths. So, like, if you're super good at math, then focus on math, okay? You want to focus on music, whatever you want to do, you can do that. And I don't think we do that enough.
Right. Yeah, I took the pandemic and they're like, "Oh, we're going to do, at home learning." I'm like, "Ooh, I get the for sure to do my homeschool cuz my husband's like, "I don't know about homeschool. I think he should be in school." And I'm like, "But I want to homeschool him. Like I want to teach him everything. I want him to learn everything that I think he should learn or that he should learn." Being where I am now. But yeah, so it just was that green flag, like, go ahead, do it. So I've been doing
it. Good. I know it's tough. It's tough teaching kids, but
yeah. Well,
you got
actually,
this.
before our call, we did school. We did about an hour of schoolwork. So yeah, and he does really well. He listens. We have to have our little moments like, okay, we're doing school now, so let's pay attention, follow directions.
Wait, you said he's 4 though, right?
Yeah, he's 4. We do preschool stuff. So it's like we have this big preschool book that we do stuff with, and then he has some apps on his tablet we'll do, or I got flashcards.
Okay. Yeah, I've learned teaching 4-year-olds, change what you are doing every 15 minutes, even shorter than that. Like their attention span is just, I mean, they'll learn a lot, but they need to keep going to different things and moving. So I can send you some things that I've done with my kids that you just make them start moving. Because like, does he read yet?
Yeah, he's like sometimes if it's like a small sentence he can. He actually started to read Humpty Dumpty today because it was in his book. It was a nursery rhyme. So he just started to read the first sentences and then was like, I don't know what this is. So we'll repeat it. I'll say it and then he says it and then we'll go through the words and do that. But I would love that information. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you. No patience to teach my kids at home.
No.
No. Maybe it's because they are older, 7 years old and 11 years old pretty much. So they are their own person. I mean, they always are from birth, but they are very opinionated. They know what they want. They know what they don't want. They will speak up. They will fart. They will argue. They love technology. They love playing video games. And sitting down still for my son, it has always been challenging.
And I don't think kids should have to sit.
Yeah.
No.
But I mean, holding a laptop and him jumping and I mean, he plays video games like very actively. He jumps as he plays. He does not sit still.
I like it.
I mean, I don't mind it, but we are doing the basement and my husband finished the ceiling and needless to say, the ceiling is cracked.
Uh-oh.
So luckily the basement is not fully done. So he will be fixing the ceiling in a couple of spots, and it's in the spots where our son Ethan was jumping in the living room. It's behind the wall. That's why I'm pointing that way. So I'm not pointing at the mirror. I'm just pointing behind the wall, just in case. I'm not crazy. I mean, I am, but I'm not.
We all are.
So I mean, getting him to sit down because when COVID hit and they had to sit down and do all the stuff on laptop, and he might be 7 years old, but he is a lot more advanced when it comes to. He doesn't do this kiddie stuff. He doesn't do this. He even calls them this baby games. He's like, I don't want to play these baby games. I don't like them. And I'm looking at it and I'm seeing how he plays. I mean, he plays Fortnite I'm sure you guys know what that is. He plays Fortnite. He played a Call of Duty a couple of times with my husband, and he kicks my husband's ass.
That's awesome.
He plays Minecraft, so his mind is a lot more advanced, and this is where I do love video games because they advance their mind. He reads beyond his grade, even the words of a teacher, and he reads very well. Now, in terms of writing, it's a little bit different because his writing is usually typing on devices, not on paper. So he needs to improve his writing, and so there's that. But again, having him to sit down on the laptop and do the stuff that he does not enjoy. He loves math, so he'll do that no problem. But anything else, baby-like stuff, he won't do it. And I mean, we're all the same way. When we don't like something, we don't want to do it.
Right. Yeah. It's true.
Agree.
I mean,
Right? And
maybe you should teach him how to journal. Maybe he would like that, to get him to write. Or you could just be like, hey, you should write me stories every.
Oh yeah, like make me some stories.
Yeah. You know, about it, like his video games. Hey, write me what you did in your video games today.
I might actually ask him that today and introduce that to him. But based on what I know of him and how he is, it's too slow. He is very fast-paced.
Well, then just make them short stories, you know, like they don't have to be long. I remember one of my favorite English classes, the teacher only taught us to write short stories because you have to be more clear and precise with your words, you know, like you're not filling in with all this extra stuff. So for him, you can just be like, hey, give me an update on, you know, your favorite video games, or give me a review on your video games. You know, like something that just gets him writing a little bit, but something that he finds fun and that he enjoys doing.
That's a great idea. I didn't even think of it like that, because we so far been, we would write a sentence for him and then he would have to write that sentence. And I mean, again, he doesn't enjoy doing that because it's not in the
his realm
of his likes.
Yeah. So see if that helps. Find some, you know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Mental.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
You gotta find stuff that they like to do. I had these two kids that were about that age, and they hated learning, but they loved, for some reason, doing like crossword puzzles and really word searches. And I'm like, well, you guys are really bad at spelling, so I'm actually gonna make you guys do this. And they loved it. They were like, so they'd be like in there paying attention and doing them, and I'm like, okay, so this works.
Nice. Yeah, I'm lucky. Uriah, that's my son. He loves schoolwork. Like he'll come up to me and be like, schoolwork. It'll be 10 o'clock at night. I'll be getting him ready for bed, and he'll be like, let's do some schoolwork. And I'm like, we'll do some tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. So I got lucky. I feel, you know, I got blessed with a little.
I think he got it from you, because you yourself spend a lot of time in personal development and learning. Every day you sit down and you learn and you learn and you learn. He might be paying attention because he's playing his stuff, but he still is paying attention.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So, I mean, there you go. You can thank yourself for that.
No, pat myself on the back.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, man, this is such a great call. I'm so glad that we're doing this. I love this.
We're like, I'm not trying to think of what could we call this for a topic, and it's quite literally like ping pong going everywhere, like spider web conversation, which has nothing to do with spiders or the web.
But you're going down deep where those cobwebs are, you know, like.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
But it's like all over the place. We're talking about like everything and anything, and that's why I find it challenging.
But isn't it great though, because they all connect though to each other, right? So like at the core of it, they're all interconnected. I feel like.
To me, every conversation that I have with anyone, it always comes back to being and living in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't call every single video and every single podcast that.
True,
Right.
true.
I mean, I guess you could, but you
Yeah,
know.
you could just have like an overall name for it. Just
What was the name you told me in Messenger? What was it? The Red Room.
Oh, so yeah, because I'm thinking of calling this line of podcasts with, because I have one where I talk with, right now it's Rachel. So IPEC coach graduates
Nice.
because, and I call that podcast Energy Ninja Podcast.
Right.
All of this is going to be called Unicorn Talk.
oh, I
Nice.
like
I
it.
like that. That's perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
And the idea came to me. I listen to TED Talks. I'm like, TED Talk, Unicorn Talk. I'm like,
Yeah.
Talk, let's do this. And part of the Unicorn Talk will be Wednesday Heal the Unicorn chats.
Yeah.
And the other Unicorn Talk will be the one-on-one conversations. And it goes
Yeah.
all in the same place, but under the umbrella of Empath Unicorn Academy.
Mhm.
Right.
And it comes down to, because one of the things that I am a huge advocate for is multiple stream income,
Yes. Yes. I
right?
agree
And
completely.
there's so many ways of how to create that. And I'm in the process of, I have one, and I'm creating another one, and I have another one, and continue to be creating these again, spider webs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right? It goes all over the place, and it sometimes might seem like they have nothing to do with each other, but at the same time, they do. They are all connected. Everything that we create, everything that we do every single day is connected to everything else, right? And what we do, like the ideas that we come up with, like, so for example, podcast. For me, I came up with the idea of doing a podcast right after I heard the very first podcast, which was, it was called, I think, Being Alive or something like that. It was a zombie podcast.
Love it.
God, it was so good. My husband introduced me to it. It was on Stitcher. And so I listened to it. And from that point on, I'm like, I want to do my own podcast.
Nice.
Nothing to do with zombies.
Yeah.
But that was like 5 years ago, or 4 years ago. Doesn't matter when it was. I know it was like, it feels like eons ago. And that seed was planted. And little by little, I started basically recognizing that it's already happening without me being fully aware of it.
Mhm.
And I'm just catching on to this to this happening.
Right.
Right. And I know, Meagan, you started your podcast. I'd love to hear when did it all start for you, and how did everything connect?
So that is really funny because when I was living in Malaysia, that's actually the first ever time I recorded one was because everyone's like, you should do one. And I'm like, okay. And I did it. But I was also working like 2 other jobs. So I, and I wasn't like consistent. I was like, I still don't know like what I would want it to be about, or, all of this stuff. And then when I just came back here, I started listening to podcasts again. So I'm like, again, I'm trying to get away from, I'm like, if I am on my phone, it's either going to be podcasts or I'm listening to music. Okay. Those are the 2 things. So yeah, I've just been listening to it, and it came back again. Like people were like, it's the easiest thing. You should do it. And I'm like, I should. 'Cause like, I do like videos and stuff, but it was just like, I'm not very good at editing videos and all that stuff. And I'm like, with this, it's super easy to edit. Like you just delete, and it's super easy and quick. And why I chose Anchor was, again, they put your podcast out to like every single platform, so you don't have to. And it's super easy. They have like a lot of those musics, they have transitions. Like it was just a super easy platform for me that a lot of other people had recommended. So yeah, and then I was just like, okay, well, I'm not doing that. And I feel like podcasts will just be super easy because I have amazing conversations with so many of my friends around the world, and they're all inspirational. And I'm like, I would love for other people to hear, these Oh, do I look like I have a interesting?
No, not on my end.
No.
You have a booger? Can I see?
No, it looks like it's like blood was coming out for a moment. I'm like, what? Maybe it's just
Oh,
the
I
shadow.
kind
The
of see.
shadow,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
I
a
see the
shadow.
shadow.
Yeah, I saw you kind of messy, and I was like, "Oh, do you have a bloody nose?" That kind of
Right?
came
That's
to
what
my
I thought. I'm
mind.
like,
Yeah,
I've never had one.
Well, it's about time. You're
right.
long
You're
overdue.
releasing. You're really releasing.
Right? Just get it on out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. So I think, yeah, you should definitely look into it. And again, I bought this little thing on Amazon, and it's super small. So it's a portable one.
What is it?
It's a microphone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and it just, because obviously I travel, so it just folds up. I have it on, but it folds up and you can just take it everywhere.
How
So,
cool.
yeah.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, my
yeah.
husband does Tattoo Talk. It's a podcast, and that's something that's really cool to see, because I'm like, we always are looking for like the best like microphone. So cool. Thank you. What
Yeah,
kind
no,
is
I really,
that?
I can send you it. Or I'll send it to Yana and she can
Okay.
send it to
Okay,
you.
cool. Yeah, I appreciate it. Oh, thank you.
Of course. Because right now I don't know
Cool.
what it
Because it looks like the sound is great on your end and stuff, so it seems like it works really, really well.
Mhm.
It's called
you can
Samson.
listen to because Megan tagged me in sharing of her podcast that her and I did. So go and listen to it and check it out. And that's why I was like, ooh, Anchor. I have never heard of it.
Oh, Anchor's amazing. Ryan
Mhm.
uses Anchor too. He
Really?
even, yeah, and you'll get sometimes sponsors, like you'll get paid.
Yeah.
Like if you say a commercial, you'll get paid, and if ever so many follows you as I get tongue
Yeah.
followers you get more for like, yeah. So there's a lot of options through Anchor. I
Yeah,
definitely
because I just like because right now my whole entire focus is on the workshop. Like we have day one pretty much ready to go, just a few edits for the slides and the just like the talking points, and then the worksheets. So just a few little touch-ups for day one, and then for day two, we pretty much have everything ready to go. But there's still things that I need to not that I need to, but I want to. Because I mean, I'm more than capable of, and this was how we originally thought we were going to do it. Let's just hop on and talk to people. I'm like, I would absolutely love that because that's my favorite thing to do. Just go on the fly and talk. That's why I love live videos. To me, that's my talk in the mirror, by the way. Okay. I love recording myself speak. Not necessarily listening to myself speak all the time, but again, expressing it and getting out of myself. That's my form of journaling because for me, writing things down, it does cause me quite a bit of anxiety. That's why I understand my son because I'm the same way because it's too slow. And that's why my writing goes like shorter and shorter and shorter and I shorten things and I mean, it just, I'm like, oh my God, just move faster. My mouth moves faster, right? And my hand doesn't. But back to what I was talking about, I next want to spend time figuring out the platform to use for the podcast.
Nice.
After the workshop is done, because I mean, Monday is coming up, Tuesday is right there, and then it will be done. And this is where it's like, I can breathe, and I want to focus on the podcast. And then the next scariest step in my life, and I know Bethany knows this, is I've been talking about it for a while, and now it's time to do, and that's to put together my own course.
Yeah.
And
you can do it.
Even like saying it hurts my heart because it's scary. But again, back to the beginning, the fear conversation. That fear, yeah, let's go, bitch.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Grab it by the hair and just run with it. No.
Yeah. And I mean, again, also, if we pay attention to how life takes us on this journey, that I've been talking about creating my own courses for like 3 years now, talking about it and planning about it. And now that I started paying attention, I'm like, I've already gone through the training of what it's like to create one by having my webinar, by doing my videos, by now preparing for the workshop. I know what to do. But that's where a lot of the fear was coming from, not knowing. And then, well, before I do that, I want to now, because I have a lot of podcasts to upload, collecting them, but find that platform. And both of you, basically, Brian and you, are using Anchor.
Yeah.
So
the universe is telling me something.
Yeah, right. I know.
And I
Yeah.
mean,
As soon as you said Anchor, Megan, I was like, oh, yeah, Anchor. Yeah.
I love that word anchor. I really do. Because to me, like, there's also sailors that used to get tattoos for anchor. And anchor would typically also have the bird on it, and it's the swallow's bird.
Right.
Right. And that just indicated that they will always come home because the anchor will bring them home.
Yeah.
And hearing how you guys say that Anchor is operating, is Anchor is the home, and your podcast is able to travel different distances across the infinite web, the waters, and it always comes back home.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
see how the mind works? Is like,
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I love it.
yeah. Some people are like, "Oh my God, Yana, what the hell are you talking about? You're just not woke enough."
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna plant the seed, and when you realize it, it's gonna be like, woo! Yeah.
Yes, it will make sense, but the way it will make sense to that person, and this is where I used to take it personally, but not anymore, right? Because the way it will make sense to a person, it will be their own idea. It will be their own thought, even though I know I was the first one to say it. And even then, I'm like, I am not going to take that victory away from them. I'm going to let them have it, because it happens quite often, because I'll say things in conversation and then they'll come out and they say like it's their idea. I'm like, oh, yes, that is a great idea. I am so happy you thought of that. Obviously without their sarcasm right now, because I know there's coming but I cheer them on saying that it was their idea.
Yeah, I feel like when you're like, oh, well, that was my idea, that's the ego coming out, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, why can't you give me credit? Like, yeah, that's totally the ego being like, knock, 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 hey.
Acknowledge me, okay?
Yeah, I'd be like,
And then also, like, talking about energy, because Bethany, you've been through the law of being, you know that this is also level 2 energy, which is the fighter, which is where the ego is really strong. And as a fighter, I need to win. I must win, which means you must lose. And this example, and I mean, that's how I used to be, like I said. But I went through quite a bit of training in school, and also myself, and practicing and understanding of the whole concept of planting a seed, and that I don't need to allow my ego to go in there and fight for what's mine, where it was not even mine in the first place, because guaranteed somebody else gave me that seed as well, and they were gracious enough to allow me to have that win.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Megan, you have a dog there?
I know. I'm like,
yes.
dog. I know we heard him barking earlier. I'm like, woo. Yeah,
Oh, it wasn't this one barking. He's the good puppy. Mommy.
Oh, how cute.
Oh, he's the
Look at those
sweetest.
big ol' eyes.
He is super good. His sister is not very good.
Favoritism.
Definitely. I do try now that I come because I'm with my mom. So when I come here, I do try to give the other dog a lot of love, even though she annoys me a lot. I still give her. I've been trying to equal it out, even though I did take this one on a walk without her, and I came back and I tried giving her a treat, and she goes. She didn't even touch it. She was like, I don't want the treat. I want to go for a walk. I'm like, you're not the best.
And I can only imagine 2 of them. Ooh, I have trouble with just one.
Yeah. No, I told her, I was like, I'll take you for a walk a little later, okay? Like, But it's hard because I don't want them to walk together either, because like he's still really young and he's gonna pick up her bad
I see.
habits because she
Yeah,
kind of he already does that here at the house. Like if someone walks in, he goes crazy. Because she goes crazy.
Yeah, I used to this is my fourth dog. In Russia, we had a Saint Bernard. I mean, I was young.
so
I used to
cute.
ride like a horse because I mean, I'm a little person. I'm 5'1" now, but can you imagine me how little I was at 13?
You're only 5'1"?
I am a little
Hey,
person.
we're the short girl.
My husband is 6'5".
Oh, see, I love tall men too. I get
Yeah.
you.
I know, right? I always notice that I end up getting the biggest of the litter. The dogs, the cats, and my husband. He's the middle of three boys, and he is the biggest one of the litter. Litter like it is a litter. But yeah, so she's my fourth dog now, and I've learned from all the other ones the behaviors that I did not like. And one of the ones that used to drive me up the wall is the dog taking control of the door and of anyone that comes in. And when I had her, the first person that came and I saw the interaction, I saw it as I saw it for the first time, that the dog saw it that as this person is here for me.
I see.
So right away I'm like, ooh, teachable moment.
Yeah.
Guest for me and for the dog that this is not going to happen again. So anyone that comes over, they're not allowed to touch the dog, look at the dog until about 30 minutes later when the dog is like calm and peaceful and sleeping. And then if you want to touch it, you can go touch it. And, I mean, it's difficult for some people because she's cute. She's adorable. I'm like, you see her sleeping like that, like a ball? I don't know if you can see her. And I was like, you want to go and touch her. But, I mean, you can.
She has a big bed. She is spoiled.
Well, actually, this bed is from our neighbor. It's made out of wood.
Wow.
So our neighbor, he makes things out of wood himself. So he made this bed for his dogs. He had 2 bulldogs. One of them passed away, and then about 2 years later, they had to put the second one down. And I saw this bed standing on the side of the house for like over a year, and I always kind of hesitated to ask for it or to ask about it. And then one day I'm like, you know what? Like, well, and I was gonna ask my husband. I asked my husband too. Next time you see him, ask him. And then I saw him that same day later, and I thought, like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask. And I asked. I'm like, I can't remember exactly what I asked, but basically what I did is I asked if I can buy that bed off of them.
Nice. And, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And then the wife, she's like, no. You can just take it. Because we were actually going to throw it out.
Oh, wow.
Solid wood. I mean, I needed help to bring that in the garage, and I managed to bring it inside myself because as a little person, we figure things out. Like,
yes,
climb. Right? I climb to get them, and my kids know that, and they watch me like, I mean, my kids do the same thing. With this bed, I just like put it on my shoulder and carried it. I managed to bring things down. There's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. Right? I agree. I'm 5'4", so I know that struggle.
Yeah. Oh, you're a giant.
I'm 5'2". Nah, I still have my issues with reaching things.
Oh, I know. I have a reaching. One day one of those like the sticks that seniors have, a little trigger.
Oh, yeah.
I have that.
You nice. I need one of them.
I love it.
I absolutely love it. Oh, and my son, he's obsessed with that stick. I have to hide it from him, and now I hit it, and I don't know where I hit it. So I need to go and find where I put it because my husband is looking for it.
Okay.
That one's called trying to get a hold of me.
I figured
It was one of those moments. And then my hand kept going over the camera. And so then the screen went black. And then I'd move my hand. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. Those little things that in the past that I would have been like, ah! You know, that it's like, okay, it's not that big of a deal.
So now that I'm looking at the time, like, ooh,
Yeah, we went past. Oh well. We're having fun.
Exactly.
How would you ladies like to wrap up today's chat?
Yeah, it's probably about that time.
Yeah, but how would you like to actually do it?
Oh, how?
How? What? Oh, that's what you're
I
asking.
was like, you're like, how bad? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. But should we say what we're grateful for? I don't know.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great idea. Now you came up with the idea. Tell us 3 things that you're grateful for.
Number one, I am grateful for connection right here, our connection that we had today. 2, for health, because of all of our health is in good standing. And 3 is for my self-love.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Megan?
Well, I would definitely say, of course, I'm grateful that I met you, Yana. And now I'm really, really blessed that I met you, Bethany. You guys are
thank you.
amazing. And I'm really glad because I feel like I connect with you guys so much. And you guys are on the same wavelength of me. So I love finding people that I can have those really deep connections with. And I've been missing that. So I appreciate both of you so much. I'm also really grateful that I am over here with my mom right now. It's a 3-hour drive. So, but it's really nice. I enjoy being here and I can help her while I am here. And another thing I'm really grateful is finding myself right now again. Getting connected with myself and finding those things that make me really have joy in life and doing those things. Yeah, and that's what I'm
Love it.
grateful
Love it. I appreciate this whole thing. I'm like I feel you completely when you're like, oh, like I felt like I've known you for a while. Like, you know, like we've always known each other. I guess that's what I'm trying to come with. Got tongue tied and in between my head trying to come out. It's all but I am so thankful for this. Oh, this is awesome.
Mhm. Yeah. Now, me, I would start with I am thankful for the intimacy that we all get to share here because and the reason why I want to use that word is because many people don't understand what intimacy is. So one of the viewers or listeners, Google it. If you don't understand what that word means, Google it, Google it, Google it, Google every word. Even Google the word trust, because some people don't fully understand what that means. But I am thankful for the intimacy that we have all shared here and the deep connection that we all created. And the sheer fact that you ladies are proof, all 3 of us are proof that unicorns exist.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that I am grateful and thankful for. The second thing is the ability to experience joy, like we all have expressed here very clearly many times over, and then the ability to access intuition, and which allows us to connect the dots.
Love it. Love it. Oh, I love the grateful stuff. It always.
Now Megan is looking for something.
I am. Hold on one sec.
And then Ramses comes to appear in
Oh.
his sleepy head. He's like, I missed it.
Right? He's all, oh, there was people around. Oh,
I want to show you so bad.
oh no. I hate when that happens. You're like searching, you're like, ah.
She's like, I know where it is. I know. I can sense it.
Right. It's close by. It's there. You know, Yana, your talk with like the 7 energy levels, when you talked about the fighter being being the ego, I was just like, I brought that put together that, okay, so that's your second chakra right there. So now my goal is to meditate on the energy levels to find out where they are in the chakra system. I just had that thought.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I have that noted, but I wanted to tell you.
Unicorn. You are on mute, by the way, in case you weren't sure, if you didn't know.
Oh. Guess what this is?
It's a unicorn.
Okay, but guess what it does?
It says that unicorns exist.
Yes. But you know
I love
those
it.
things that you can microwave and heat up?
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
put it in the microwave and you just like put them on you.
that's amazing. Oh,
And he
what a
smells like
great-
lavender.
That's awesome. Oh,
It was my mom's present to me.
what a perfect end to have that unicorn on the video too.
Yeah, I have a
I'm
lot-
obsessed. All right, unicorn ladies.
Yeah, I have my unicorn. It's on the fridge. You can't see it, but it's a magnet. It's there. Yeah.
You as well as a unicorn.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All of us.
He loves my my stone necklace.
Yeah.
He loves to chew on it.
Aww.
So I'm gonna put that away. He's so annoying sometimes. So,
I'm ready.
ladies, this was absolutely incredible.
Oh, I love that.
Wait for next
Next
week.
week. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have a fabulous day.
You
Have a
too.
fabulous week. I look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Me too. Thank you, ladies, and I love you all.
Love you
I
guys.
love you guys.
Bye.
All right. Bye.